So, I promise I won't bore you too much. And after that, it's most likely going to be drinks. Just a bit of an idea around with Scaleway is, we are part of the Iliad group, which is the fourth telco, I think, in Europe nowadays, around what we do with 70 million customers around, and Scaleway is cloud part of the telco. We're active in bare metal, public cloud, and AI, and obviously we're going to talk about AI today. And there's a lot of focus on what is a sustainable cloud and what makes AI sustainable around, and mostly being able to use data centers that are built and designed to not use that much energy and way less water around, being able to reuse and reduce the impact of the hardware, renewable energy, and all of the cloud part. So we're going to talk about data, obviously, and a lot of it, how it is reshaping AI, what I'm calling about the data loop around to all of the usage of data and the life cycle of the data, what we want to do on the Gigafactory initiative from Europe, to do that at a Continental-Scale, global Continental-Scale in Europe, and few next steps. So first of all, there's kind of three types of data that we see in AI today. On the training data, when people are kind of gathering everything that they can and stuff it in the data and try to find a way to extract what makes sense for the training on that front. Retraining, adaptation data, when I have a model and I feed it all of the data that my analyst did, and train of the data to be able to get in on it and use it to create new presentation, new data, new everything around it. And the inference data, which is quite interesting because all of the people that I'm talking to doing inference today are kind of keeping everything that the user did, everything that their model is answering. And it's quite interesting as well, and kind of need us to grow the clusters that we have around. I was under the impression first that inference is just getting the data for the customer, get out and trash everything. And it seems it's very, very different from everybody that I'm discussing with, as they want to keep everything. So lots more data. And what's interesting, and it's tying into what everybody said around, and even more with, I don't remember if it was Paul or Alex talking about data tiering and being able to have more data at less cost. And that's tying in a lot around that. And for what we do today, we're using DDN everywhere around it, but exascaler everywhere. And there's a lot of discussion for us to look around for inference data to do that on our drive rather than doing it on SSD, because they don't need the speed for it. And around the data loop, that's kind of the important part of everything, and tying into what Jensen said this morning, what all of you said around it. On the size of data and need of data, it's quite interesting to see first on preparation of all of the data, we're talking hundreds of petabytes, if not more, today around that, because people are absorbing all of the text that was ever created and digitalized, all of the video, audio, and everything. It's really a tremendous amount of data, and it needs to be fast, searchable, and accessible in object, file, whatever you want around. They usually want mostly object, from what I see. After that, there's kind of a part of data preparation that reduce a lot all of the data, all of the deduplication, creation of token for training and everything. We're talking usually today tens of petabytes around that. Model is trained on that front, and as of today, I'm really seeing everybody, they want file access to that, so it's kind of already a bit different from the data preparation. Model adapting, so feeding your own trove of data around that. What's interesting is a lot of customer and future customer, hopefully, that I'm discussing with, are having pure insane amount of data, and I've seen a few of them having even more data than the people that have scrapped nearly everything on the web around to feed the model and feed all of the presentation, all of the analysis, all of the logs and everything around it, to be able to have a model that is good for what they want to do. And after that, there's an inference stage, because it's fun to create model, but at some point everybody needs to do money, and money is pure in inference today. And as I said, it's kind of infinite amount of data, because the more that people are going to use the model, the more people are going to infer on it, the more data is going to be created. And part of this data is going to go feed in to the data gathering phase and looping around to continue evolving the model and everything. And we need to have reliable and safe data storage everywhere. And it's really a lot of discussions that I'm having with the DDN team on Infinia on that. And it's quite interesting and important, and we'll see a bit after that around it. What's annoying, I would say, on part of it is where and how the data is being created today. It used to be first just on the training side, so mostly getting all of the text data that you can find and do something with it. But as of today, and a lot of model builders and model users that I'm seeing, data is created like everywhere in the cycle. They are getting people to read text, to get audio files. They are scrapping all of the archive of video everywhere to be able to create things. They're getting all of the photo digitalized somewhere. They are getting all of what is getting from the inference from the user. And that's very different from what it used to be, because it used to be, okay, I'm having a very big S3 bucket, I'm going to feed it in Exascaler, train on it. But as of today, I'm creating data at the edge from my eyeballs. I'm ingesting data from X number of cloud in the same area, and all of the data is very unstructured and very hard to know where your data is and what your data is, where it is. And it's even worse when you are discussing Continental-Scale of what we want to do around the Gigafactory. So let's speak a bit about global AI. And what is interesting for me, at least in Europe, is that Europe is 450 million people, something like that, with local ideas on what to do everything. So if I want to do AI at a very big scale, I can't do it just in France. It's going to be too small to be able to support gigawatt plus AI factories. I need to do that European-wide, and everybody wants to do things a bit differently, and we need to have an architecture and a global system that can accommodate all of these few different ideas. Sorry, I thought I had the next on your slide, but no. And the idea behind it is being able to offer to everybody that want to use that Gigafactory the ability to know what and where the data is. And it's very interesting on the Infinia side to be able to catalog all of the data everywhere and not having to have all of the data at the same place. And doing so enables the fact that I want my 100, 200, 300 petabyte of data for my training, but it's part of way more data around that I have and own everywhere in Europe, and I'm being able to accommodate all of that and train or retrain on that data without having the need to concentrate and copy it everywhere, every single time, which is very interesting for us, and it's something that we really want to be able to offer to the customer with DDN, of course, around it, and being able to say, okay, you want to train in France, in Germany, in Italy, anywhere, and we're going to be able to get your data everywhere you want to train, or even more interesting, to infer around and being able to gather, create the data catalog and know exactly where the data is and how it is every single time. So for us, the next step around that is really building that infrastructure, that very heterogeneous infrastructure. It's quite interesting what Jensen was speaking as well this morning and saying that it's not only the GPU anymore, it's the GPU, the CPU server, the LPU server, a lot of different steps around, and it's the same for storage. We're going to have to get storage that is incredibly fast to be able to train fast and iterate fast on the model, but we need as well very capacitive storage to store everything that is going to be created and being able to have the traceability of the data from where it is created, how it was used, how it was transformed, how it was maybe fed in the training of the model, what everything is doing around at the same time, and being able to have that view of the data without having to copy the data at a central place every single time. And it's really that tying in at the global continental scale, because if I don't do that, I'm going to have lots of discrete part of the data copying my data all of the time when the customer is going to want to infer somewhere that his data is not currently in, and being able to tie all of that together is quite interesting, and it's really lots of discussion that we have around NVIDIA with DDN currently on that idea. And I hope I did not kill anybody. Thank you so much.